Okay, live from Amsterdam, it's Dr. Charles Nenner. Charles, welcome back.
Thank you. Stuck in Amsterdam.
Last time we spoke, actually, I think it was in mid-March. You were in New York at the time, and you just when did you get back to Amsterdam?
I already forgot. I'm getting a bit, sitting at home every day. No fresh air. Let's next question.
Actually, I wanted to, and I'm assuming you took the plane back from JFK to what? The Schiphol, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is it? I mean, like, so there were actually flights going back. There's like normal air traffic.
Well, not right now.
Okay. But were people wearing masks when you were on the plane?
No, what happened was, there was a Dutch plane, and the Dutch sent all the masks they had to China because they didn't realize to come over here. We have no masks over here.
No, no. Are you making a joke or it's serious?
No, no, seriously, seriously, they have to no masks over here.
Wow, wow. It's
But it's
incredible.
still unclear if it really helps.
What's that?
It's still unclear if it helps.
Yeah, it's interesting. And now you're a medical doctor, so you're not sure also if the masks actually block the virus.
No, it blocks because if you have two people with masks, it will do something.
Okay,
So the analysis that one mask doesn't do much is incorrect because if the other one also has masks, you got two
okay,
masks.
okay. So that does help. Yeah. What do you know? It's funny. I was actually in Los Angeles a couple of days ago, and I'm in the was it in Maria del Rey in Los Angeles, which is and I see people on kayaks, right? The places. By the way, it's there's supposedly a lockdown, but the streets were packed. People are riding their bikes, and I actually saw people on a kayak in the middle of the ocean wearing masks. I don't know. Is the virus? Can the virus transmit through the ocean? Across
No,
across
maybe there were
miles?
there were robbers.
Yeah,
They're going to rob us. That's something else.
it's very possible. So, but I kind of want to recap. So, we had you on like February 26th. You had a couple of very interesting predictions. With the highlights, one of the highlights was your call on oil. I think at the time. Now it's on YouTube. There's actually people can see the the graphic which said oil $5, and at the
Yeah,
time I think what was the futures at the time were about 46.
I don't remember, but people always said, well, this time he really, screwed up.
Right. Well, it's you've always had very bold calls. The Dow 5,000, which we'll get to that one in a little bit. But you had the call on oil $5, and actually now we're going to have people saying that you were dead wrong on this one because it actually went to negative 37. So it didn't get quite to $5. It went to negative. So
Yeah, but my,
but
my system doesn't go negative, so that's the answer.
so that's it. So people can actually ask you for a refund now.
Don't open the Pandora box.
The floodgates will open. We'll have refunds. So
Well, my
oil.
my client my clients are doing so great, they don't have to work anymore. So I'll give they're not going to ask for a refund.
No, no, the call on oil was really incredible. I remember when you were saying oil $5. I mean, I'm very open minded, but I did think it's a little bit it's a little bit out there. Maybe 15, but and I think actually in Canada the tar sands are still like I believe those are trading in the $5 range or something like that, right? The tar sands or whatever they have up there. Yeah. Uh, it's pretty crazy. Now, of course, Bitcoin. You had a great call on Bitcoin. You're still bullish. Um, let's talk about the market. I mean, the Dow. Since February. I mean, the Dow really collapsed after that. It had a massive. The stock markets have had a massive run up in the last 30 days. So where are we? Where are we now? Like, what are your cycles pointing to for the coming months?
Well, first of all, people should not be people. If you know a little bit history of financial crashes, they're all the same. So if you look what happened in 1929 or what happened in the year 2000, what happened 2007, it's always the same story. And always you get all these media saying why it's going up now. And nobody says, oh, it always goes up in the same way. After so many weeks on the downside, we have a bounce of so many weeks. But the idea is, I just talk about the idea and then I come to the cycle, which I want to bring out is that actually I don't get the idea. Let's take Holland. A lot of people die over here, but for now it's stable. Every day the same amount of people die. So now they're going to open the economy like they want to do in the United States. Let's say that people would not be bored at home because people are so, I don't know what's going on, they can't even read a book or listen to music. They can't stand being at home. And let's say we have still something to eat because, we're not going under. The economy is not going under. So would you open the economy? I guess probably not. So the fact that it stabilizes is only because people stay at home. So someday I published a situation, what happened in 1918, and I answered why in New York there are much more people dying than in San Francisco at the moment. Because what happened in 1918 in the Spanish flu, they had the same story. Less people are dying, let's open the shops, Okay, so 4 or 5 weeks later, it came back 10 times worse. And compared to Los Angeles, where they didn't open the shops, where it was under control. So this they remembered in San Francisco. So that's why San Francisco, from the beginning, they were more tough than in New York. So what I don't understand is, a lot of things I don't understand because it's so simple. History always, does the same thing. So what you get is, you release people now to go out because they're not getting more people dying, only because people stay at home and keep their distance. So it's going to be much worse. So the market is buying because it says, oh, we're going to open the economy. And so you get a dead cat bounce. That's what you have over here in the markets. And soon cycles turn down again. And then here we go again. And then probably you hear, oh, we'll go back to isolation because now we've got so many people dying. It just amazes me that the leaders, as far as I can call them leaders, that nobody knows the history, how to deal with these things.
So what is actually, before we're getting back to the markets, what actually is the answer? Like, I mean, should people stay, locked up in their homes for the next, several months, or what? I mean, because we gotta get the world back to operations.
Well, there are two things they don't tell you. First of all, they don't tell you that if you were sick, you're not immune for the rest of your life. Nobody knows, maybe only for a couple of months.
Right.
What they don't tell you, maybe they will never find a vaccination against HIV. Up to today, they didn't find a vaccination. So to say, oh, we're going to have a vaccination soon, or so many people recovered and they're immune now, so it's not going to come back, is total nonsense. So what are you going to do? Well, what you have to do is actually, I hear in New Zealand, the virus is almost gone because they keep this very strict until the virus is gone. They always make the same mistake. I understand that if you're a politician and you want to be reelected, you cannot keep the economy closed. You cannot force people to be at home. And then when people start dying, he says, oh, I didn't know. The same thing as in the crash of 1929. The president, I think, was President Wilson, and his people says, oh, now it's better. Now it's going over. And it didn't get better. And we had a big depression. So what can you do? You have to wait. You have to be honest and say, listen, people, you want to be bored at home, or you want to have to risk that you're going to die in big numbers.
Right.
But you have to bring it up. You cannot say, oh, it looks better. Yeah, it looks better because people are in isolation.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. It's I think though right now the numbers in New York are, from what I understand, they really have come down. So it's sort
of. Why did they come down? Well, they came down because the virus is exhausted. It's tired. It takes a break. Or it's because people are in isolation.
Could be, it could be both. Could be the virus is tired.
Not tired yet.
Now, the one thing that's interesting is that there, I think the market is hoping that there's going to be a vaccine, and I think it's kind of assumed. It seems to be like it's really assumed that there will be a vaccine in 12 months or less. But the reality is that there is no guarantee that there ever will be one, like you said earlier.
Right. Maybe they never find a vaccine.
But also, I think I read an article saying that somewhere between 25 and 50% of people in New York City already have been exposed, whether they have the antibodies or they've been exposed to the virus.
Yeah, but how long do they keep the antibodies? I mean, every year you need a new shot against the flu because
Right.
it changed
And
a
also
little
could be,
bit.
I think there could be mutations also coming out now.
Right, right. So,
So
until now, it doesn't mutate. That's when I still have friends in the medical business from when I was a medical doctor, and it still, thank God, it didn't mutate till now.
yeah, it's interesting. So getting back to the markets, because that's so. What's your outlook right now for are you still calling for Dow 5,000?
Yes, still calling for Dow 5,000, the same as oil, and but it could be a year and a half away.
Okay.
I mean, we came down from almost 30,000 to 19,000.
Right.
If we do it again, we're almost at 5,000.
Right. From 5,000 from 19,000 is not that far off. I mean, again, the Dow was what 6,000 plus in 2009.
Yeah.
So, it's not a major move.
Right, and it still existed in 2009.
What's that?
And the world still existed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The planet kept the planet kept spinning. I mean, business more or less went on, as more or less normal. Now, here's what's kind of interesting. Now, one of the questions I think that people have that watch, that watch you and watch these videos over the years is that like some of your market calls, which are based on cycles, and maybe you can kind of get into some details. Now, you have a model that looks at these cycles, and like sometimes you have a call, like whether it's Dow 5,000 or oil $5, but a lot of times, you actually, you change, you kind of, you do have updates, you do have changes that may come up, a couple of weeks later, different price targets. So how does that work? I mean, how do you change? How do your price targets change?
We don't change it. Let's take the train from
Okay.
Miami to New York.
Right.
And I tell you how many hours it takes, in this case, how many months or years it takes to get into New York. But I tell you where the stations are. So 4 times a week, you get an update. Let's say the next couple of days, let's say the next two weeks, the S&P is going to rally 200-300 points. And then you get intraday update. For today, it's 16 points. And then we'll go down 9 points. So this thing that now we had a price target of 29.19 on S&P. I see we hit, I think, tonight 29.9. So we missed only by 10 points. And that was an intermediate update because, people want to do something. So it's worthwhile to play it for 300 points or 400 points on the upside.
Right.
Then we go down again. So everything stays the same. You go from S&P, let's say 3,400 down, and we tell you in the meantime what the bounces are doing, when they occur, how long they take, and what the levels are.
Do the price targets get adjusted, depending on the velocity of the moves?
Nothing gets adjusted.
Okay.
Not the dates and not the targets.
Okay.
So because now you should become a believer, because if I can tell you that crude goes to, I said $4.90, I didn't know what the news is, what's going to happen. So slowly you should believe. We don't do that for the first time.
Right.
That has nothing to do with what happens in the world. It's just a price target, and that's where it has to go.
Right, and it's an interesting point, right? Because like you're really kind of agnostic as to markets. I mean, like speaking of which, we've discussed Bitcoin a number of times, and there's always, I think there's 2 schools of thought. There's some people who think the Bitcoin thing is a scam. Others are true believers. You're basically neutral, and I think you view Bitcoin as kind of the perfect trading market
Right,
with,
because there are no
with perfect
fundamentals,
cycles.
no news comes out. But the other, it actually happens in the other markets also. But people are taking off track by the news. And on Bitcoin, there's no news. That makes it very easy for them to follow the research because now they're not bombarded by the media and all kinds of nonsense.
It's purely price action.
But in the S&P, in the gold, in the crude, it's purely price action.
Right.
But because the media have to feed all the people who get a salary, they have to come up with stories. So like I said, the annoying thing is when I listen to them, they have a question to a so-called expert. How do you feel the market's going to do? Well, I'm not interested in his feeling. If you know something, tell me and tell me how you calculated it. I'm not interested in what you feel. But since they all have no clue that there's such a thing as I know, they never ask people, tell me exactly what's going to happen.
Now, so Charles, so tell me exactly what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Where are you still? Do you still have? I think last time we spoke, you had a 20,000 target on Bitcoin.
Well, that's long term.
Long term.
And now we did this. We bought Bitcoin. We sold at around 7,800. Since then, for 10 days, it's around 7,800. As long as it doesn't go above 7,800, we think the cycle is going to bring it down.
Okay.
So very simple. We know when, and we know what the price target is. And then when it goes down we know until it goes down and how much it goes down. Well, can't be easier than that. I mean, it is a science, investing, an exact science. Just people, it's I don't even know what to say. They can get free research for us for a month or 2 months, I know exactly.
Right.
And they can check it out themselves. So you're surprised that if you would do that, your friend says, you don't believe this really works. And then you don't do it. And then you lose your shirt on market crashes. It's people who have been bombarded that you don't know. And if you ask in the media people, what do you think? He says, I don't know, but nobody knows. So these people already know that nobody knows.
We're gonna have the link to your newsletter below, so people can sign up. So
you get it for free. Just check it out. Every we get 4 updates a week. It goes from crude oil, natural gas, the dollar, the bonds, the bond markets, the S&P, the European markets, gold, silver, whatever you want. Just check out. You get the exact dates and exact levels. And after 4 weeks, you should see that if you would not listen to the news, and it's very difficult also for me, because I still turn on the television to see what they say. Yeah, but if you only follow that, do it on paper, and you see that you don't have to follow anything that happens in the world.
Now, back to stocks in terms of the Dow. Do you have an intermediate price target that you're telling your subscribers about, like something like let's say 6 months?
Well, 6 months doesn't help me because if the Dow goes down, it goes down till a certain date. That doesn't mean 6 months. Could be in 3 months. Could be in 8 months. So I don't know where it is in 6 months.
Okay.
I'm not prepared for the question, so I cannot tell you when the next low is.
Okay, but so the bottom line though is you're still bearish on U.S. stocks.
Yes. Let's agree on one thing. If I'm right that the virus action is going to be much worse, we could go to 5,000. It's not so far-fetched, but I just want to remind you that when I was in zero stocks 4 or 5 weeks before we hit my price target, there was 33.89 in the S&P. It didn't go 1 point higher. That was exactly the target. I did it based on my forecast for the GDP, the deflation, the oil price, the interest rates. It's not because of the virus. If we fix the virus, we're still at the end of an expansion, and the market has to come down.
Okay. And so in other words, so your forecasts are based on all those cycles with the GDP, interest rates, everything is taken into account.
Right.
Okay. It's interesting. Okay. Let's talk about the precious metals. There's been a lot of action there. People are piling into gold now. What's your outlook right now for the precious metals?
Well, the long-term target is 2,500.
Okay.
Meantime, we pay every time $150 on the upside, on the downside. We went out at, I think, 1766. I think it's now around 1720. And I think soon we want to go long again. But I don't know exactly, without being prepared, when the cycle low is and what the level is. I think somewhere here. But it's going to hang around for a while. But then it picks up and we go first to 2,500. And like I said, we go up for the next 6 years.
Okay, so we're in a 6-year bull market for the precious metals.
Right. We started buying in 2011.
Okay.
And we have another 6 years to go.
Okay, so it's almost like a 10-year cycle, roughly.
Well, it's not that simple because it's not one cycle. There are several cycles. Some could be 2 years, some could be 5 years, some could be 10 years. And the interesting thing...
15-year cycle. From 2011, you started buying in 2011.
But it's not that simple because there could be a cycle of 50 years that goes up and not much happens until also the 2 and the 5 year cycle bottom. So when they all bottom together, you get a major buying opportunity. So when they all top together, like they did now in February, you get a major sell opportunity.
Okay. Now 2,500 is really not. I mean, it's not that far off from where we are now. It's not. I mean, it's not like a massive move. I mean, it's
but that's the first target.
Okay. It's the first target.
Right, and from there we can make a big correction.
Okay.
And then when everybody has lost all their profits because they don't go out, we go up again.
Okay. So you're saying it can go. So you're saying gold can go beyond 2,500.
Right.
Okay. Do you have like an ultimate target on gold?
No, I didn't calculate it yet.
Okay. What about
I'm busy enough for this. I'm very busy with things like natural gas because a lot of banks in Canada gave a lot of loans to companies based on the price of natural gas, and everybody is, very worried if they can pay it back. So I got other things to do than only they think we only do stock market, so we don't.
Right. You do have a lot of clients in focusing on different areas.
I have to do live cattle. I had people in Miami who do orange juice.
Okay.
They have to know when to sign the contract forward to sell their oranges. It's a whole thing.
Right. Now, what about do you follow that gold silver ratio?
Almost not.
You don't follow, okay? Because I think like right now it's almost what, like 100 to 1. I think historically it's 16 to 1 is the number.
Yeah, but I almost don't watch. I just watch when the cycle bottoms. Okay. I go in. When the cycle tops, I go out. So
it's not something that you so you don't, the ratio is not something you follow. Okay. What about so now back to make a full circle or make a cycle with oil? Where does oil go from here? Well, we go back to this $4, and it's going to be down for a long time. And like I said, it's a big deflation that's coming. Now, the crisis we had in the oil happens later also in other situations. And people still don't understand that it seems they didn't know how to play this oil business. I called a friendly government that I work with. I says, why don't you buy now the oil for minus $35? And then to all the people in your country, sell it for $0. They can have gas for $0, drive around, right? And you make a big profit. But they hardly knew what I was talking about, so they didn't do it. Right. It's I think what is the joke now that when next time you pull up at the gas station, you fill up your tank and they'll owe you $50. Yeah. But you're saying that oil is going to be in a prolonged bear market at these low levels? Well, everything. The copper is going to be in a bear market. Okay. It's going to be deflation. The economy is going to come to a halt. That's not only because of the virus, but it's because the Fed made major mistakes. The interest rates are so low. I'm sitting in Europe. People paid for their pension all their lives. They have to. And interest rates are negative. So they get negative interest rates in the bank. They have to pay the bank to keep money. The pension is not worth anything.
People in a crisis, they don't know what to do. So there's no buying power anymore. It's a big mess. So what they wanted to do is the ECB and the Fed, they didn't want to have a recession, and it made things only worse. So now it's so bad they don't know what to do anymore.
How long? So how long do you think oil is going to stay at these levels then? At, this kind of this bear market levels.
I try to remember what it looks like at least the whole year. I don't know. Next time you have to tell me exactly what your questions are. I'll be prepared.
You'll be prepared. Okay. But in other words, if oil stays, I mean, if this is like I think was the June futures are like around $12 today, I believe. I mean,
yeah, $12.
Crazy numbers. But I mean, if oil stays at these levels for 6 months, I mean that really could cause massive damage to the U.S. economy. I mean,
well, no, the political landscape is going to change totally, because a lot of countries don't have income anymore.
Right. I mean, yeah, I'm only thinking of the U.S. We don't think outside of America. No, I mean, it's going to cause a lot of problems. I mean, like, people. I don't think a lot of people realize that oil is a massive part of the economy here.
Right. What do you think about
Saudi Arabia? But it's
what do you think about airlines next time the virus starts being worse again? I mean, the discussion I had years ago about book value. People look at cash to the cash flows, and then look at book value. And I came with the example exactly airlines. It says you look at the airline. Oh, the book value is 100 billion because they have so many airplanes. Well, okay, but of all these airplanes don't fly anymore. What is the book value? Nothing. So everything has to be reconsidered. The old way of trying to calculate the value of a company doesn't exist anymore.
That's an interesting point to consider. Okay, so what else? What other markets are we looking at right now? How about the U.S. dollar from here?
Well, the U.S. dollar is going to be under pressure now for a while. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. It's going to be a couple of months, if I remember well. The computer is not open, but I remember that we're about to go long the euro, and that's usually anti-dollar, so probably the dollar's going down.
Okay.
So that's simple, Okay. I'm just very worried about. That's why I like people to look at my research, because this is survival. This is survival. This is not so simple. I'm going to try to make some money. You need a long-term idea what's going on. You need a long-term outlook. What happens in a situation of deflation? It's a big, big problem.
So right now we're in the deflationary part of the cycle. It's
only going to be worse.
Okay. Any good news?
Any good news on in this thing? Actually, not.
Okay.
Actually, not. I got food for the next 3-4 months and not going out of the house. So
No. Are you serious? You're not leaving the house?
I didn't leave the house for 5 weeks already. I'm not leaving.
You're kidding. You haven't walked out the door.
No.
Wow.
You should see here at the back of my house how much garbage I have. I didn't take it out.
Oh my God. Well, I haven't had a haircut in a few months. I'm starting to look like you. I'm saving money though. But so you're saying that this virus thing you think is going to last for quite a while longer than people are expecting.
Yeah, my wife is stuck in Brazil. She already can't fly back for 5 weeks. So we're trying to look for a hole in the isolation measures so she can have a flight to come back, because she can't come back. That's the only thing I'm waiting for. And then back we go, I guess. I guess this is a major mistake to make. Probably under pressure. But like we said in the beginning of our talk, if the virus is not tired, then things look only better because we're in isolation. So isn't it normal to say that if you don't keep the isolation going, it's going to get worse? I don't understand the whole philosophy behind it. The interesting thing is, also in the United States, when they ask questions to Trump, nobody asked this question. And also in Europe, they got all kinds of stupid questions. If children go back to school, how they're going to sit, how many children in class, nobody asked this question.
Yeah, I think in Spain they kind of are letting kids out now, right? I think this week.
Right.
So, but in the Netherlands are basically you're not allowed to leave your house. I wasn't aware of this. It's like
Well, you're
Italy?
allowed sometimes, but for instance, if you're outside and you don't keep 1.5 meters of distance, you get a ticket from the police.
Really? Wow. Interesting.
And still, we have a lot of dead people over here.
Wow. Oh. It's a very interesting situation. Okay. So let's recap. We're still calling for Dow 5,000, bullish on gold. What are the markets? Any other markets that we haven't covered that people should be watching?
Well, the bond market is around to turn over, so don't buy any bonds anymore
Okay.
because they're topping out.
Okay. So
So
you
if
so
you sell,
so rates. So you're expecting rates to go up from here.
well, not go up, but not go down anymore.
Okay. Okay. So this is the rates are in the U.S. are pretty low. I mean, this is
Right, but you
more.
know, since they say the Fed is buying up the bonds, so people might say, "Oh, let me buy the bonds," but they look toppy. Now we got the rumor that the Fed might buy stocks. I mean, there are really people who believe that. How crazy can they get?
Right. Well, you don't think that's possible that the Fed could buy stocks?
You know what a mess is going to be in a financial system?
I think they do that in Japan. Don't they do that in Japan?
I don't know.
I think I
I,
think I think I think in Japan they're buying
yeah, but then but then you get the Democrats and Bernie Sanders saying, "Listen, look how unfair this is because the average people don't have money to buy stocks, so it only makes the rich people richer. What do? It doesn't help." And he's right.
right, right. It's an interesting point. Okay. Well,
But now the situation that you give, what is in the States? You give $1,200 or so to every person. It's a joke.
yeah.
That's How can you seriously think you solve a problem? Just wait a couple of weeks. What are you going to do?
Right. Well, I think one of the problems now is that once they end this lockdown, a lot of businesses are saying they can't. They're not going to have any employees because people who have been laid off, they're making more money being unemployed than they would be employed. So why would they go back to work if they're still getting paid? They're making more money sitting at home.
Right? But they don't want to sit at home. We just discussed that.
So right. But then so essentially they'd be paying money to go to work in that case.
Yeah, but it's going to be for a short period. When we talk in 1 or 2 months, you see everybody sitting at home again.
Okay. Okay. So bottom line is this. Bottom line is that we should be watching for the virus to make a comeback.
Yeah, just do whatever you have to do. Don't think, sorry, this is going to be a long-term solution. You got maybe 1 or 2 months.
Okay.
Then it's a big mess again. So I don't know what you have to do is, have to fill up your house with food or whatever, get guns or whatever you guys do in the United States. I don't know.
Ammo, stocking up on ammo.
Yeah, get rockets or I don't know.
Now, do you think the virus can come back in the summer? I mean, because you're saying 1 or 2 months. I mean, isn't usually the summer a kind of a time when there's in theory no viruses going around?
So explain to me, in Israel, it's very hot. Virus is strong. In Brazil, where my wife is, it's summer. Doesn't make a difference. I don't know where these rumors come from.
I don't know. This is what I keep hearing. Or actually, no. Isn't the flu season? Isn't the flu season usually in the winter?
But nobody's. Well, it's because people crowd together in the winter, so more people get sick.
Okay.
But I like to go. I would like these people who are in charge and know so much, ask them, so give me an example of a country where it's hot and where it's not so bad. Right? How can it be bad in Brazil? It's very hot already for a couple of months. It's summer, so I don't get.
It's we're in uncharted waters, but well, at least anybody watching this, they have access to the cycles information. They can,
but
they should definitely subscribe.
You just have to see what happened in 1918.
Right.
Study the subject. Look what happened to the stock market. Look how long it took after they opened the economy again for the next crisis, and you can predict exactly what happens.
Right. And to recap, in 1918, what happened? Exactly what happened? You've studied this. So they what was the kind of the curve there after they reopened?
Well, it took 6 or 8 weeks, and then it became very bad. That was in October, and in New Year's, especially from New Year's in 2019, it was a catastrophe.
Okay. So this is something that people should kind of keep an eye on in that case. Okay. Well, Charles, we're going to put the link down below. So it's charlesnenner.com. So if anybody that wants to subscribe, you have any specials that you're running this month?
Well, I wrote the whole thing about this 2018. First of all, the specials is, first of all, I write about these things also, not biased, because I'm not biased. The second thing is, people know that if they come to you, they get 50% discount if they like it after 1 or 2 months, seeing it for free. They have a way there of saying that they come through you, and then they get 50% discount.
Okay, so yeah, anybody that's watching this, when you sign up for the Charles Nenner newsletter, mention Wall Street Reporter, and you'll get the discount. So, by the way, Charles, you're a bona fide YouTube celebrity now. Your last video that we did has over 18,000 views. So you're
really,
yeah. It's for us. It's a lot. Usually we might have a couple thousand. So that's that's a lot of views for for economic discussion.
Well, I never look. I find it embarrassing to look at myself because there's always this I don't like and that I don't like, so I don't watch myself.
Well,
but I'm going to watch.
That's like most movie stars. They don't watch their own movies usually. It's one of those things. So Charles, on that note, I want to thank you again for your time, and stay healthy, and we'll have you back on hopefully next month.
Okay, I hope that the situation is still going to be reasonable.
Yeah.
And not we discuss what has to happen now.
Absolutely. Okay, Charles, thank you again.
You're welcome. Sorry, I am not more positive about the future. What's not my fault.
Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, as they say. Thank you, Charles.
You're welcome.